If we're being honest with ourselves, Arthur Curry has very good reason to believe he is a god. By the time Clark Kent met Arthur Curry, he had been living in isolation in the underwater city of R'lyeh for about, 9 years? Arthur Curry does not look human. I mean, he looks like a human, but when you look at Arthur Curry, you don't immediately think, yeah, that's a person. You think, oh my god, what is that? Holy shit. Arthur stands 8 feet tall. He is a towering beast of muscle. His skin has a texture to it. It looks like human skin, but if you touch it, it's spongy, and that's because it's actually closer to dolphin or whale skin. Though Arthur has the normal set of human organs inside of him, he also has about 20 more extra organs from sea life all over the world. It's not clear how Arthur's DNA somehow was merged with the DNA of thousands of other animals, but it led to physical changes in him that are immediately evident. He has a blowhole. He has gills on his ribs. He can withstand up to 20 times more pressure than a normal human body. Oh, and he's fucking 8 feet tall. Arthur's arms are also slightly wider than a normal human's arms, and his chest is also bigger, and that's because he propels himself through the water usually with a breaststroke. Arthur's powers, if you can call them that, are tied to water. He's genetically post-human, so the idea that he has some sort of magical, super strong thing is kind of a superficial read. In actuality, the way Arthur's powers work is volumetric and having to do with water, specifically H2O molecules. The amount and density of H2O molecules currently in touch with his skin broaden his human electromagnetic field to create surges of kinetic energy that are incredibly powerful. These surges are internal. They don't shoot out of his eyes or anything like that. It's just a level of strength and ability to manipulate matter with your bare hands that is beyond anything else. What this means is that a wet Arthur Curry is about as strong as Captain America, but Arthur Curry underwater is as strong as the amount of water around him. That means Arthur Curry in a lake is stronger than Superman. And Arthur Curry in the ocean? I mean, this works in magnitudes based on the water that's around him. If he's surrounded by an entire ocean, you are fighting something that cannot be stopped. Though Arthur is able to communicate with certain forms of sea life, most sea life that encounters him is afraid of him. And most of the conversations he has with them are them in fear, expressing fear. This has led Arthur to feel trapped between basically two different animal kingdoms, humans and fish. But he's so much more powerful than a human and so much smarter than any fish. I mean, he must be a god, right? I mean, that's what his dad told him in the cult in Innsmouth. I'm sorry, was I talking about a cult in Innsmouth? I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. This video is supposed to be about powers. Arthur's body is also not immune to physical damage. He has a healing and metabolic rate not unlike that of the character Wolverine. Except for the thing is, Arthur can't do it from nothing. He can't just generate flesh. He has to intake constantly. So he feeds on krill to continue getting protein to build out, and if he can't do that, he'll just eat 100 hamburgers. You can shoot him, you can stab him, you can fuck Arthur up. In fact, someone with enough force coming in at Arthur could kill him. But it would have to be almost immediately because otherwise he'll heal and then you're in deep shit. One of the things that's interesting about this healing power is that he bleeds. So Aquaman in combat is most of the time covered in blood and injuries from people trying to kill him. But you might as well be shooting a BB gun at an elephant. This thing doesn't go down. Diana of Troy, the Amazon Wonder Woman that Lex Luthor positioned as essentially the first ever branded superhero, despite the fact that she was essentially a brainwashed primitive living in seclusion and being used by Luthor as a weapon. Now her powers are very interesting because of how similar they are to Aquaman's. Diana is a hyper-evolved human being. She's us how we might be 1,000 years from now if we evolved to that point with zero outside influences and it happened almost instantly. When you encounter Diana of Troy, you are looking at 6'9" of lean muscle. But that's not all you're looking at. Though Diana has traditional training in combat, she works out to stay strong. If she doesn't exercise, if she was sedentary, she would gain weight like a normal person, but culturally she doesn't. She was raised to just be a killing machine, so the idea of that is, what I'm saying is being Wonder Woman takes work. She is physically stronger and faster, and has better reflexes than any other human on Earth who isn't genetically modified. But that said, she needs to eat like a normal person. She's susceptible to poisons. Also, if she's injured, it doesn't just heal. If Wonder Woman is badly injured, that injury will remain. As it stands, Wonder Woman is roughly, I would say, about 2/3 as strong as Superman. But when you're talking about that level of physical force and strength, that 1/3 means a lot. It's the difference between Clark being able to lift up a train above his head and Wonder Woman struggling with, a fucking 18-wheeler. That doesn't really matter because Wonder Woman's strength doesn't so much come from her physical super strength. It comes from her training and abilities. This is essentially a person who was trained from day one to use the fact that they are stronger than all other humans to absolutely destroy anything in their path. Of Aquaman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, unquestionably, Wonder Woman is the most dangerous. Wonder Woman's skin is interesting too. It's not quite bulletproof, but it's much denser than that of a rhino, so most small arms fire will just bounce off of it. However, it will leave a dent and a small bruise in her flesh. She can't take those kind of hits. Now, granted, Diana likes getting shot. She had never seen a gun before she left the island. She says it stings in a good way. I don't know, man. Diana's weird. The skin is also dense enough that she's primarily immune to burn damage, and if she gets burned, there's this weird thing where she then has to scrape off the outer layer of burnt flesh because it doesn't get past the dermis. This also means that when you fight Wonder Woman, the look of Wonder Woman throughout the fight changes because she goes from a composed warrior to slowly a mangled, beaten up, dust and burn and ash covered fucking... It's like fucking Apocalypto. Remember the guys in Apocalypto? How they were just all fucked up? That's Wonder Woman. A big problem with Diana once she reaches the real world, the outside world, outside of Themyscira, is that if she gets really hurt, which she does a few times on missions for Luthor, she got blown up with a missile. She had burns all over and she broke her leg. Granted, most people would have been incinerated, but she had burns all over and she broke her leg. The thing is, to set that bone, Luthor needed special equipment built. So if Wonder Woman's out in the world and she gets really hurt, which, bear in mind, it's incredibly hard to do, she has to go to a special hospital for Wonder Woman. Because, as you recall, going back to the island is not an option. So now we come to Superman. Clark Kent from Smallville. The man who rocketed to international fame when he decided to use the strange powers he'd been born with to try to help other people. Clark Kent's powers have always been a mystery to him. What they are, how they work, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand it. I mean, he couldn't even control it at first. If you read American Alien, you know that Clark has exponentially grown in power throughout his life. And that included, the eye beams, the freeze breath. These things showed up as he got older, and he couldn't predict what would happen next. Clark only knows that his parents have a pod in the garage that fell from space, and that he was in it. The thing is, it's not clear if it was launched by, humans, and he's some sort of experiment. It's not clear if he's an alien, that he has no interest in pursuing it deeply, and that comes back to haunt him in a major way in a story called Superman, Do It Yourself. The whole Kryptonian epic. It's called the Kryptonian epic. It's not called the Smallville epic. It's called the Kryptonian epic. Clark's from Kansas, but he's also from Krypton, so how's that work? Clark also has a pretty serious issue with the idea that he's an alien, because number one, there's nothing alien about him. He can get drunk like a normal person, he can get high like a normal person, he gets small viruses like the cold and flu like a normal person. It just never hits him quite as hard as it hits everyone else. Clark can reach about a 3-drink level of alcohol intoxication before suddenly he can't get more drunk. He could drink an entire bottle of Jack Daniels straight and he would still be pretty fucked up. He will never black out and he will never throw up. He'll get sick, but he'll never have to miss work because he's sick, except for to protect other people. Wear a mask. Or don't wear a mask if you're Superman. Clark Kent, Superman, the first ever anti-masker. Also, remember, Clark looks like John and Martha Kent. Like, he looks like them. He's their kid. But he's from space? You would not want to think too much about it either, probably. Clark has incredible physical durability. It is insanely hard to hurt Superman. Even stranger, the way his durability works is kind of bizarre. A great way to describe how Clark's genetic invulnerability works is to describe what happens when a bullet hits him. A bullet will come at him, moving at the speed of a speeding bullet, strike him, and then instead of ricocheting off, will sort of bounce off at about 1/20th of its original speed. If you get hit with one of these bullets, you go like this. Ow! Like that. So basically, Clark can get shot up in a crowd and everyone around him will just get hit with paintballs. But that doesn't scientifically make any sense, right? Clark weighs a normal amount. How is he possibly pulling off massive feats of strength or being impervious to bullets? You would have to be incredibly dense. So here's the thing. Clark Kent's powers aren't located in the traditional way inside of his body. The Superman's power set comes from a manipulation of the electromagnetic field around him. When Clark flies, he's not flying like a bird. He's literally being lifted off the ground by magnetic forces. Oftentimes, Clark, when taking off, will go upside down and do a flip before rocketing into the sky because he gets launched at that speed. It took Clark a long time to perfect his flying abilities. But the thing is, during that period, the flying abilities were actually getting stronger because the longer that Clark is in the light from the yellow sun, he's achieving some sort of photosynthetic power drain where he's essentially being fed light and spitting out super strength and flight. In this way, Clark is kind of like a human solar battery. If he's out of the sun for more than like a week, which he never is, he would slowly start to lose power. If Clark was ever in a situation where he, for a full year, was out of the light of Earth's sun, he would be a normal person and it would have to start all over again. But the thing is, Clark has had a whole lifetime of being out in the sun and not even really knowing that that's what fuels his powers. When you think about it, it makes sense. Clark's feats of strength are him subconsciously using his body to guide the field. That's why when you get hit by Superman, if you're a normal person, if Clark hits you at less than full strength, you'll survive, but you'll be rocketed backwards in a way that physically doesn't make sense. And by physically, I mean in terms of physics. If Clark hit you that hard, his fist should go through you. But instead, it's more like a big slap. And that's because you're not really getting hit with a fist. I mean, you're getting hit with a normal human fist, but you're also getting hit with an electromagnetic field that exists not around the fist, but inside of it. Those I-beams are just him bleeding inner energy. That's him literally shooting his life force at you. Kind of crazy, right? That someone's metabolism, their metabolic reaction to light would give them superpowers. That's like they're a plant or something. That's so weird. Clark can also use this electromagnetic field to heat up or cool down particles. Now, to do that, he would have to really be in meditation for 60 years. But while he was working with Batman, he figured out that if he literally just tries to make it cold and goes, he can blow what is essentially a frost wind onto things. It won't freeze them, but the temperature will drop about 30 degrees in about 1 second. And being in the way of that attack, it's not good for a human body. Clark's top speed over land is about Mach 4, but you have to keep in mind when he starts flying really fast, number one, it takes him a long time to speed up, and number two, it takes him a long time to slow down. This is why after adopting the cape of the superhero Batman, which he tore off of him in American Alien issue 4, Clark then switched out the Batman cape for a fabric he saw on a demonstration by Lex Luthor of a technology called Kite Man. Clark's red cape is not just for show. It's not a cape to be like, haha, I'm a superhero. It's because he uses it to make banked turns to slow down. Batman eventually teaches him to use it as a weapon. The bottom of the cape is weighted, and that allows Clark to basically shift his shoulders like that and make turns like that he wouldn't be able to make in any other way. Clark Kent flying without a cape is more like Clark Kent rocketing like a bullet or floating like a fish. Now, for those who are really paying attention to these videos, and I know there's some of you, there's maybe 100 of you who are really paying attention, I hope you noticed that the way Clark bounces off bullets is kind of similar to the way Batman bounces off bullets, but he has a 100% reduction rate because of his ablative armor. Batman's ablative armor takes bullets silently. They hit Batman And there's no sound. They don't bounce off. They just literally, they fall to the ground. When Batman walks towards you and you're shooting him with an Uzi again and again, literally you're hearing bang, 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 bang. And it looks to you like the bullets are just disappearing into this oily black shape that like billows towards you like a cloud of smoke. In reality, this technology is based on a proprietary technology with mysterious origins from LexCorp originally, but then Wayne Tech got it too. Essentially what it allows for is the violation of what we thought were laws of physics. It is able to dead stop momentum and disperse energy instantly. The thing is, if you get hit by, say, Superman, no amount of ablative armor is going to be able to disperse that. It's also worth saying that Clark Kent is not immune to drowning or suffocation. Attempting to go up into space, he can hold his breath for maybe 9 minutes, which isn't that, I think that's less than the actual normal human world record. His super sort of durability allows him to travel into space without being killed by the cold or the heat, but the pressure still makes him dizzy and he spins out. You see it happen to him when he tries to fly to the moon while he's drunk in American Alien issue 6. Similarly, if he's underwater, Clark Kent can't just breathe. He has to get up and out. He's most powerful in direct sunlight. So his battle with Aquaman, an agent of Batman, is totally unfair for Clark. He doesn't stand a chance. The strangest thing about Superman, the public figure Superman, is that most people assume he doesn't have a secret identity. And when people depict him in art, oftentimes they will depict him with a huge muscular body, when really Clark is like a kind of slim guy who you'd never think was Superman. The reason he doesn't have to wear a mask is because no one thinks Superman has a secret identity. He doesn't wear a mask. So yeah, Clark looks like Superman. By the time you reach in society endangered species, you know, he's Lois Lane's boyfriend. He's on her social media all the time. So people are like, hey, making Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man memes with Clark Kent and Superman. And the meme is just Clark Kent is Superman. But that's a joke because Clark is Lois Lane's dorky boyfriend. It's so funny because it's like it's staring everyone in the face. There's zillions of pictures of Clark Kent, very few pictures of Superman, thanks to Wayne Corps' continuous deleting algorithm. But there are some. I mean, people can go, it gets so obvious that Clark is Superman that by endangered species, people are giving him like free hot dogs and going, this one's for you, Superman. Nice reservations at restaurants, fancy clothes, brand deals for Clark Kent. Because everyone's just like, this guy's Superman. You know, he'll be walking up the street in Metropolis trying to find a bathroom. All the bathrooms aren't open to the public on this street. Fuck, where do I find a bathroom? People will just walk past him and go, hey, Superman. And Clark will go like this. I'm not Superman. It got so bad that one time he was in New Troy and he was in line at the DMV to get his license replaced because he lost his license. And everyone in line at the DMV let him cut because he's Superman. And Clark was like, okay, but I'm not Superman. If you're letting me cut, I want you all to know that I'm not Superman. And everyone in line was like, okay, sure, man. Have a good day, Clark Kent. People are so willing to believe that Superman is real and Clark Kent is somehow less real that when they talk about Lois Lane, they always go like, oh, Superman and Lois. As though Superman and Lois makes any fucking sense. It's a made-up name. Lois Lane's a real person. She's not dating a fucking cartoon. There are things that unite these three figures. Secret things, hidden in the past, buried in ice. But what matters is that they found each other. Three orphans finding a way forward in a world that needs to change. What is this? Some kind of Justice League? Will Smith.